Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the NECA Toys Alien vs. Predator 1994 arcade game Razor Claws Alien. So yeah, we are continuing Alien Week with Razor Claws. If you want to check out my previous review, which was the Chrysalis Alien, I'll leave a link down below, but if you did watch that review, you'll know that I kind of hinted at Razor Claws, saying he's a great figure, and I do like the mold, but NECA, what is with you guys with these QC issues? I mean, there's a joint on this figure. I already forgot which one. We'll get into that in articulation later, but there's a joint I can't even move, even with hot water. Now, granted, yeah, if I spent a little more time with it, I could have probably got a little motion out of it, but I don't want to push it. I mean, the mold, the Big Chat mold, is really fragile, especially when it comes to joints, and I've had several of them break on me, and I really don't want to break this one. I do not feel like repairing it, so I'm just going to leave it as is. But Randy, or whoever the hell is in charge over there, get it together, pal. Get it together. Alright, I don't know what's going on over there, but you need to get your shit together, because this is getting ridiculous. And you're probably asking yourself, well, why don't you just stop buying them toys? I'm not gonna stop, because it's a drug. And like drugs, I have an addiction. And I really wanted this figure, and it's a good figure, but it suffers from typical NECA disease. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up so I can just get into the review, but just want to let you guys know straight off the bat. Okay, let's get into the review. Alrighty, so the box. I mean, if you guys bought the Predators or any of the other Aliens, it's pretty much the same. You do get a nice image of Razor Claws down there, the actual figure. Obviously, you got the AVP logo, and a nice background that you can take out that's arcade style that, again, I said in my last review, I use for my displays. They actually work pretty damn well. This side of the box, again, has a really nice image of the figure, which is pretty cool, and the other side is pretty much the running theme for the series, which is the Predator here, and you get a nice little boxed icon of Razor Claws, who is, again, the actual figure, so that's kind of cool. The back, I mean, it's typical with this series, but you do get the alien right there, looking pretty cool. You know what I noticed with NECA and these figures? They always look constipated on the backs. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but that's their thing. You get the, you know, the health bar and all that stuff, and then here are the other figures in the wave, still hunting down Dutch and Lynn. But here's a biography of the game, so you can pause and read that if you would like. And for you nitpickers out there, here's the top and the bottom with the UPC. And here is Razor Claws out of his packaging. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a 360. Hopefully he won't fall. He's pretty good with standing, I'd say. He suffers from a problem that a lot of the aliens do, mainly like the Big Chat mold and even the Alien 3 dog alien mold, which is the bottom half of the legs tend to get bent because of the figure's weight. It was kind of like that with Chrysalis as well, but it wasn't as bad. And this one isn't too bad either. He's actually much better with that than my other figures with a similar mold. So that's pretty good. But anyway, as you can tell, it's a really nice figure. It's got a really unique color pattern. You have a bunch of different shades of pink and a lot of purple, actually, which is pretty cool. Obviously, he looks very arcade-esque with those crazy colors, just like with Chrysalis Alien with that frosty touch, and this feller here has that frosty touch as well. Again, it's a go-to when you're trying to replicate video game stuff, especially arcade games. They were kind of, you know, obviously they were pixelated, and I think that she does a real good job here. But yeah, and the tail on mine, luckily, is pretty good about staying on. Chrysalis is so far okay. You know, if you watch my last review, you know that it did have some problems, a little bit, but this guy here is a bit better with that. So, anyway, I'm gonna shut up so I can show you the actual sculpt. It's funny, these aliens always look funny when you look at them straight ahead like this. It's just funny. Anyway, the dome. Like pretty much any NECA alien, it's really, really good. Obviously, as you can see, the dome is transparent. Not completely transparent. It does have a nice, almost blackish gray tint covering the sides, especially towards the bottom. And I hope my camera's picking this up well, but you can actually see the bone inside, almost kind of like a spine. You can see the ridges here and almost like a rib cage in the center there, which is really, really nice. And I think that's a really nice touch. The actual bone itself inside is shaded, has shading in the bone groups, which is really, really nice. And I kind of like how this has a nice shimmer to it in person. Don't know if that's picking up on camera. That shading, especially that black shading, is especially significant towards the mouth, which is really nice. And I kind of want to get a good view here at this side, because this is just, it's so creepy looking. I mean, what I mentioned in the Chrysalis review is these kind of resemble sea creatures. The heads, it's so odd, and you can tell obviously this is definitely kind of like some kind of sea creature. You got a nice dark purple right here for this part, trying to get it in focus, and then it kind of transitions into a light pink with some blotches of purple throughout to make it look arcadey, which I think was a really, really nice touch. Even has some streams of white throughout too, which is pretty cool. But they put a lot of sculpting into this. Obviously you can see all these coils and stuff pretty nicely. Nothing sloppy, which I do appreciate. Here's a better look at the side of the head. Again, great detail, like these, how this coil runs kind of as a border between the dome and the actual head. That's really nice. And it kind of trails off to the front here with the teeth. Actually, my alien is, my copy is actually pretty good with the mouth. Typically with aliens, it's kind of crooked a little bit, but this one's surprisingly pretty good with that. And he has a goatee. I'm trying to focus on that. Yeah, he has a bone goatee, which I think is really funny. You got a blotch of purple right there on one of them. I don't know if that was on purpose. I would imagine that's not the case, but it kind of, kind of fits the theme. And open in the mouth here, they even sculpted the, I want to call them gums or muscles and stuff there, and the teeth are a nice bone white, which is pretty cool. And of course you can pull out the inner mouth. It's a little difficult on this guy. You kind of have to use your fingernail a little bit, but yeah, there it is. Pops right out, and it's a nice purple as well. And the teeth are a little bit sloppy, but it's not too big of a deal considering how small it is. It's kind of tough to paint that, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. And like I mentioned, the entire head is just crazy looking. It kind of reminds me of a swordfish in a way, because it's so pointy towards the end. I don't have too many aliens that have a pointy dome, and it's actually sharp. I could see this breaking skin pretty easily. So, and obviously you got these wires or these tubings running from the base of the head, not even the base, towards the mouth, and it connects to the back. Be careful, because these do like to pop off on some of my figures, so just be careful. Don't articulate the head more than it should articulate, because these can just pop off easily. And luckily they didn't come broken in the packaging, because that's how a lot of mine came, a lot of my previous aliens. So just a heads up. And obviously this definitely uses the big chap mold, or at least a part of it. So you got these nice shoulder pieces right here with a stream of white there. I want to zoom in on that detail. Great detail. Got the coil in there and all these ridges and everything, painted in a nice dark purple. At least on my end, it's probably brighter on camera, so that's pretty nice. You even have like a little mini wire right here. It's not even necessarily a wire. Yeah, no, it looks like it gets sculpted in, but that's nice. That's nice looking. And got the back there. You have the spine, which is ironically painted black, which is kind of weird, actually. I would imagine it would be painted purple, but it actually kind of looks cool like that. There you go. And he has those traditional tubes, or these, I don't know, sticks, whatever you want to call it. I call them a backpack sticking out here. Again, these are, I believe, a new mold, because usually they're flat at the tip and much shorter, but these, you can tell, are much longer, kind of more sleek in a way, and they have a pointy end and great detail in those as well. Got the coil, different shades of pink and purple in there, got that stream of white, so it has a nice pattern of white throughout. It's nice and symmetrical too, so those are really nice looking. And checking out the rest of the figure, like I mentioned, uses a lot of big chap parts, which definitely fits the figure. The only downside about the big chap mold is it definitely suffers from QC and a lot of bending or warping, I should say, but I'll get into that later. Anyway, you got the rib cage here, sculpted beautifully, nice streams of white, even a tint of red in the center actually. Don't know how that's appearing on camera, but yeah, it has a very, very slight tint of red there. I also like with the rib cages how it transitions from white into the purple. It's not immediate, so it's just a nice transition. I think I got a little bleeding right there. It's hard to tell. I don't really mind. And again, when you're talking arcade figures and the figures that are bleeding, you can kind of countermeasure it by saying, well, it's just meant to be more arcade looking. So there you go. And here towards the crotch, got more of those white blotches, nice shades of pink, again with those coils and all that molding. It's great. So you got the little undies here. I call these undies. I don't know why. It's kind of odd to have this immediate purple right here, I'll admit. That's kind of what struck me the most when I opened this figure. Obviously, when you're looking at it head on, it's a variety of colors, obviously pink, purple, white, stuff like that. And then as you turn the figure, whoa, all purple. Which, I mean, I'm not going to be displaying the figure with its back to me. I don't think anybody will. If you guys watched my Thermal Vision Future Predator review, it kind of had the same problem. The face of the figure is painted nicely, but then the back is just a solid color. So again, it's not the biggest deal, but they kind of cheated a little bit there. The back of the arms and the legs are fine for the most part, though. It's only this top half, which is a little odd. And speaking of the arms, like I mentioned, it does use big chap. Got tints of red in there, great molding. It's a good sculpt overall. And this is a new part. Obviously, he has the kind of like a spinal ridge under his forearm, or the top of the forearm, which I think is really unique. And each of those pikes, I guess you can call them pikes or ridges, have a nice bone white paint app, and then under is that dark purple again. And obviously razor claws, so he does have claws. Yeah, and these are nice. No, I thought those were connected for some reason, but yeah, so here they are. The claws themselves are a gray. Not even a gray. I don't know how it's appearing on camera. It has a tint of blue in person, which has blotches of white throughout it, and it's really pliable too, so that's okay. Got the nice pink hands. Again, looks great. And the underside here is that dark purple, almost a blue, so that's nice. Is this one connected? For some reason I thought these claws, the fingers, were connected at first. I don't know why I thought that. That's odd. Moving down on the figure, obviously, again, big chap. So you got those nicely sculpted legs, painted well. Not a whole lot to say, just looks good. The joint right here is a little bit weird. Kind of have to work with it to make the legs parallel, but just good paint work. And you got the kneecaps here. I like how these aren't symmetrical, by the way, the legs. Like this obviously has a side that's a much pitcher white, whilst this one is faded. So I think it looks pretty cool. Don't know if that was intentional, I'd imagine so, but I think it looks good. And moving down on the legs, like Chrysalis Alien, just be careful, these might bend under the figure's weight. So just a heads up. And got the feet here. I wonder if these are a new sculpt or if these are reused. I think they're actually the same as Chrysalis, but I'll when I do comparisons, I'll double check that. And again, with the nails and claws, it has that gray tint, so that looks good. As far as the tail goes, like I mentioned, I don't have any QC issues with the tail. It's secured in, cough cough arachnoid, and the tail obviously is bendy all the way up to like right here, and it's got some nice paint apps. So got pink and purple and all this crazy stuff, even some white at the top of these ridges. And then here is the tip of the tail. Again, got those gray paint apps, shades of white in there, and I like how it transitions into kind of a darker purple towards the end. So it looks really nice. I mean, the figure obviously is great looking. It's not my issue with the figure is not a matter of aesthetics or how it looks. Obviously, it looks good, no doubt. It's handling it that it's kind of fragile. And what I mean by that is it's really, really likely to warp on you. And I'm not sure what to do about that. I mean, there's only so much you can do. Just articulating the figure, it just feels like you're warping it, which is kind of odd. And there's hair on you. Probably my dog's hair. But aesthetics-wise, it looks really, really good. But before I get into some size comparisons, because I want to spend a little time on that, I want to actually go ahead and show articulation and then talk about that joint that's been giving me issues. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so for poseability, he definitely has a lot. He has a joint, like a hinge joint here at the neck, and it can go down not too far. I mean, technically, like I mentioned with Chrysalis, the joint is there, so you can technically force it down, but I don't recommend so unless yours comes easily articulated. I'm assuming the paint in mine is kind of shutting it a little bit, and I don't want to mess with it too much because if you don't know NECA, they tend to break on you. But he can look up pretty okay. I mean, you can get a little bit of poseability, and it can swivel a little bit, so you just have to work with it going down. Again, like Chrysalis, he had that problem. Okay, so the arms. Standard big chap. They can fully rotate, and they can go out about that much and in a lot. And of course, we have the double jointed elbows. It can swivel at the top of the joint, and just be careful with doing this. It always feels like this part's gonna separate. And it can rotate at that forearm piece. The hands are on a hinge. Go forward and back, and they can fully rotate. And these two fingers here are on a hinge joint, so you can do a lot of stuff with that. I do have a bit of a loose joint here at the, I guess, the abs or the diaphragm, whatever you want to call it. So just be wary, but it can go back. God, that's scary to do. That really is. And for that much, side to side, and it can obviously move left and right. Just be careful moving it left and right, because it seriously feels like it's gonna break for me. So that's kind of scary. The legs, a little bit restricted because of this sculpted piece right here, but luckily it is soft enough to be pretty pliable, and it can move back. God, that scares the hell out of me. God, I don't like doing that. And it can do the splits as well as rotate here at the ball joint. Double jointed. Oh, is this the joint? Yeah, that's the joint that just doesn't want to work with me right here. But technically, the joints are there, kids. It's a double jointed elbow, and it can rotate full. It can do the full 360, but I really don't recommend that. God damn it, NECA. The feet, if I'm not mistaken, are on a ball joint. I'm trying to focus it there, so you can go for that much, back that much, side to side. And the feet can move up and down. So, was it also this one that had the... Oh, yeah, this is the extra bad one. This top joint here at the knee, it will not work with me. Yeah, because I think this one, it was working earlier. I think I just need to put it under hot water again. But yeah, this one, shut completely. And I really don't want to mess with it. I really don't, because I have a feeling it'll break, and I really don't want to deal with that. the tail, like I showed earlier, can move the full 360, and it's bendy. So just hold it at the base when you are bending it, just in case. And obviously the mouth can open and the inner mouth can come out, which I showed earlier. So lots of articulation. Again, handling it is really scary. I mean, just doing this articulation segment was scary enough. Was not looking forward to it. Had a couple, I just felt scared moving that ab joint. That scared the heck out of me. So I don't know if your copy will be like mine. Definitely let me know down in the comments below if you own the figure. How's yours? But mine's okay. Could have been worse, but still no excuse, NECA. You can suck an egg. Alright, so for size, I do have my trusty tape measure here, so let's see where he's at. About 9 inches. Yeah, I'd say it's roughly 9 inches, kind of similar to the Chrysalis. And speaking of Chrysalis, let's actually bring him into the mix. Let me kind of work with his tail a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so there you go. Come on. Oh, you know what was that? The domino effect in the background. All my figures just fell. Son of a fucking bitch. God damn it. Okay, an arachnoid, who, again, funny pose, because I had to super glue it, but there they are. And, I actually have one more thing, or two more things I want to put next to it. Let's actually move Arachnoid out of the mix and bring in this video game alien. So they're kind of, both of them are pink, so now I have 2 pink aliens. That's fun. For some more comparisons, here she is next to the Ultimate City Hunter. And if you want to bring in an AVP mold, granted he's on a stand, Scarface. So put him right there. Yeah, funny enough, I'm using a stand from my Scarface figure. Oh, you motherfucker, what else fell? Son of a bitch. Jesus Christ, what the hell is happening? I just had 10 figures fall off the shelf for no reason. On all sides of the room. Oh, dear God. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's happening in this room today. Things are just falling for no goddamn reason, and it's legitimately pissing me off. And I spent an entire day putting all my new displays up, but apparently I'm gonna have to redo it. So, son of a bitch. Anyway, sorry for the cursing. I apologize, kids. I know I got kids on the channel. I'm gonna try and bleep this all out, but this is a raw review tonight, gentlemen and ladies, so heads up. Anyway, you get the point. I showed her off with a bunch of different figures, so let us move on to my final thoughts. I call this the Italian pose. Okay, final thoughts. Do I like this figure? Yeah, I do. It's a great figure. Aesthetically, it looks great. Handling it is, I'll be honest, not a lot of fun. You don't want to mess with this guy too much. Then again, it's just my copy. Hope your copies are better, but something I reinforce in all my reviews is I don't promote NECA. I don't promote anything like Big Bad Toy Store or anything. I don't even monetize my videos. If I'm going to tell you this figure is garbage, I'll tell you the figure is garbage. Is this figure garbage? It's not necessarily garbage. It's great looking, but it's flimsy. And it will definitely warp on you over time. I can guarantee you that. So NECA, with those joints and everything, what's happening over there, Randy? Okay, I don't know what's going on over there. You're gonna have to go through your staff and fire all the stupid people because manufacturing isn't going the way it should. It really, really isn't. The fact that there is a joint on this that I can't move, granted, yes, you know, I could have done something more, is just stupid. It is just stupid. And it happens way more often than it should. So, sorry if I'm ranting, but it's stupid. Anyway, regardless, I do recommend it if you are an Alien collector or a Predator collector or whatever. And if you like the game, you know, the 94 arcade game, then this is definitely a figure for you. It does a great job of replicating the character from the game, and it just looks great. So, there you go. I'll let you make your decision. Definitely let me know in the comments if you already own the figure, if you want it, if you hate it, or if you're gonna wait to get it cheaper. I'm pretty sure that it's still all over the net, you know, Big Bad Toy Store, stuff like that. I found it in Target, if you guys didn't watch my haul video, so it's not too hard to come by. Anyway, go check out the Sanctuary on Facebook and YouTube, where we do a toy show every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come join us. We talk figures, toys, comics, movies, everything pop culture, and we'd love to have you. And as always, people, have a good morning, evening, midday, whatever, and take care.